Hello, I'd like to show you my favorite thing that I own. But before I do, two things. One, it has absolutely nothing to do with the way that I'm dressed. This was just a way to get you to watch the video. Plus, the vibe is already so confused, like circuit board on a ballroom gown, barefoot fairy out in the woods, like what is it? And the second thing, content warning, this object used to be a part of my body. There's no blood or gore or anything, but if you're not into that, I suggest you leave the video now. Okay, now it's just us freaky ones, the people who save their teeth and collect animal bones when they go hiking. So, check this out. Man, these wings are really nice. They're from Hello Fairy, if you want a pair. Okay, I know it doesn't really look like anything. Well, that's not true. It looks like the mummy from the first Brendan Fraser mummy movie, like maybe his hand, like scary mummy hand. But this is my uterus. For those of you that are unaware, the female anatomy is comprised of the egg sac, the jelly tube, the baby house, the pain donut, and the fun zone. At the beginning of the year, I had an elective hysterectomy, and this is about to become a video showing how I dried it and encased it in resin. I bought an epoxy resin for beginners that claimed to be bubble-free and some round molds off of Amazon. Let's start with it was a laparoscopic hysterectomy. I was super excited to get it. It was so easy, minimal recovery. I mean, I just had 3 little itty-bitty incisions. I feel like I healed in 4 days. It actually wasn't up to my surgeon at all whether or not I could keep the organ. I had to sign a form to give to the pathology department the morning of my surgery. 2 days after the surgery, we went and picked up my organ. It was in this little thing. Look how cute they said safe for patient. But it was also in formaldehyde, which I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to give to normal people. Then after much procrastination came the day when I needed to take it out of the formaldehyde, rinse it off, and dry it. It's rubber glove porn. I only had one good glove. So it was in a little hazard baggie. There's my container with the organ in it, and I had some water to dip it in to rinse it off. I was a little nervous to get in there. Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, can I be friends with it? It's so cute. So the pathology department had cut it in half and then sliced the halves widthwise like an accordion. Man, they chopped this bitch up. They massacred this thing. They done chopped the shit out of it. It's like an accordion. Oh God, oh God, oh God. There's bits, there's bits. I think I can Frankenstein this motherfucker back together. I was really flying by the seat of my pants with this because obviously I've never encased a human organ in resin before, but that was one of the many phases of the plan, was that I was going to sew it back together so it would look like an organ again. If you're wondering what I ended up doing with the formaldehyde, well, I knew I couldn't just dump it down the drain because that's not good for the sewer system. Also, I live in the woods, so I have a septic tank, and that means the formaldehyde would have just gone into the woods behind my house, and that's no good. So I called a lady at a place that disposes of it for hospitals, and she was really mad they gave it to me. But she ended up telling me to take it back to the pathology department. So I just took it back in, and they took it for me and disposed of it properly. I love it. It's so cute. Dude, I'm gonna go with they certainly didn't give me the damn tubes. So this is my cervix then. That's my cervix. That's where the sperm comes in. And then this is the uterus. What is that? What is that? Well, here she is all chopped up right before I encased it in silica gel. I actually got the silica gel from a friend of mine who uses it to dry flowers for encasing in resin. So I figured, it'll work on a uterus too. I thought it was a good idea to do a test run with the resin, so I used Bruce, a beetle I found in a parking lot a few years ago. I had never used the resin or the molds, so I wanted to see how it worked. And I think the circular mold worked really well. It was a little difficult to get him out, but once Bruce came out, he looked fantastic. A few bubbles, but he fancy forever. It was finally time to get the organ out of the silica gel. I didn't know how it would turn out, but it was surprisingly mummy-like. Very spooky claw hand. I am honestly in love with it. Knowing zero amount of what I'm doing, here is the dried organ, the resin mold, the resin itself, and a couple other extra bits to try and get this to work. And if you'd like to see the most stress-induced thing in the world, watch this at regular speed. It's my father and I trying to figure out how to hold the organ in place while we place the resin to dry around it. That was a night. Definitely learning curve. Probably should have done some other resin projects first, more than Bruce. But at the end of the day, we got it set up in a way that makes sense. It seems stable. And then, of course, I had to move it because I couldn't let it set on the table since there are cats in my living room. I needed it to be somewhere where a cat wasn't going to destroy it. And of course, being me, I chose to get up several times throughout the night and pour more resin to make sure it was even.
Yeah, you just gotta go for it, right?
It's too smooth. I can't grip it. God, frickin' Jesus Christ. Oh my God. So there you have it, my uterus encased in resin. Is it perfect? No. Do I love it? Heck yeah. My 2 resin paperweights. Do you ever have those moments when you realize you definitely should have filmed in landscape, not in portrait, because it's so much easier to trim landscape for a portrait video than it is to expand portrait for a landscape video? And yes, I am carrying my uterus in my cleavage because I was afraid it would break if I dropped it. And as everyone with boobs knows, that's the best place to carry stuff.